Hey everybody, it's Dave here with Blue Bears Games. Once again, we are going to be doing the Commander 2020 unboxing. This video will be the Arcane Maelstrom Commander. This one has Kalanex, the Stormsire. It looks kind of like a Stegosaurus to me. Its colors are red, blue, and green, so they are more the Animar style colors. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what's in this one. If I can open it. Pull this bad boy out. Put that to the side. Alright, so let me get the oversized card out. So this one is supposed to be based on this one as your main commander. And we'll go ahead and get into the box. So, as always, you get the pamphlet. New this year, again, you get the life counter that goes on one side to 40, one side to 20. And a blank card for no reason, and the deck. So let me put this stuff to the side, and we'll get started. Alright, so let's open this bad boy up, and I'll show you what's inside here. And as usual, whenever I open one of these things, it gives me a problem. Alright, so let's throw this out, and let's get started. Let me zoom in a little bit. Alright, so the commander, I'll go through the 4 commanders. First commander is the one that's supposed to be the main commander. His name is Kalanex, the Stormsire. 1 blue, 1 green, 1 red for a 4/4. And let me zoom in a little bit more. And his ability is whenever you cast your first instant spell each turn, if Kalanex is tapped, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. And whenever you copy an instant spell, put a +1/+1 counter on him, so he grows bigger and bigger. So it's more for spell slinger style, especially in the colors it's in. You've got giant growths, you got lightning bolts, you got counters, so it'll work really well. The backup commander is Xyrus, the Writhing Storm. It's 1 blue, 1 red, 1 green for a 3/5 flyer. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except the first one they drew each turn, or each of their draw phases, or steps, create a 1/1 green snake creature token. Whenever Xyrus, the Writhing Storm, deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. So, alright, and let me zoom out just a little bit. There we go. Alright, then you got the partners. The first partner is Halden, Avid Arcanist. 1 blue, 2 of any for a 1/4. Partners with Paco, Arcane Retriever. When you play, or you may play, non-creature cards from exile with fetch counters on them if you exile them, and you may spend mana as though or any color to cast them. And the partner is Paco, whatever you want to call him, is a green, a red, and 3 for a 3/3. Partners with Halden, has haste, and whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library, put a fetch counter on each of them. Put a +1/+1 counter on him for each non-creature card exiled this way. Okay, so those are the 4 commanders that come with this one. And then we're going to move this stuff out of the way. Here are the tokens that you get. Goblin Warriors and Drakes on the other side. Some Beasts with some Bird Illusions on the other side. Some Beasts with Snakes on the other side. And I'm not really showing you. Saplings I'm going to use. I might actually take these. Saplings and Treasure Tokens on the other. Alright. So, let's see what else they give you in this one. Alright, so a Command Tower. And a Frontier Bivouac. Or Bivouac. I don't know how to say it. I'm going to say Bivouac. It's the Tri-Land before the Triomes, the green, blue, red one. A Gruul Turf. A Howlimer Depths. An Izzet Boiler Works. A Myriad Landscape. A Rupture Spire. A Simic Growth Chamber. Rugged Highlands. Swift Water Cliffs. Thornwood Falls, and then some basics. And then we should be hitting to the rares for the deck. So those should all be familiar for you guys, especially if you've bought any of the Commander stuff, the precons recently or in the past. So we're going to get into the meat of this one. Alright, so first one up is Decoy Gambit. It's a 30 cast instant. For each opponent, choose up to one target creature that player controls, then return that creature to its owner's hand unless its controller has you draw a card. Okay. Eon Frolicker, 4 to cast, so it's 2 blue, 2 generic, 5/5 flyer. When Eon Frolicker enters the battlefield, if you cast it, target opponent takes an extra turn after this one, and then until your next turn, you may you and planeswalkers you control gain protection from that player. Nascent Metamorph, 2 to cast for a 1/1. When it attacks or blocks, target opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. Nascent Metamorph becomes a copy of that creature until the turn. Then that player puts all cards revealed this way on the bottom of their library in a random order. Deflecting Swat is the free spell that for this deck. It is 3 to cast, instant, and it says if you control your commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. And it says you may choose new targets for the target of a spell or ability. That might go into a deck. Alright, Lava Brink Floodgates, 4 to cast for an artifact. It taps to add 2 red. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put a Doom counter on Lava Brink Floodgates or remove a counter from it. Then, if it has 3 or more Doom counters, sacrifice it, and when you do, it deals 6 damage to each creature. Curious Herd, 4 to cast, instant, choose target opponent. You create X 3/3 green beast creature tokens, where X is the number of artifacts that player controls. That's not bad. Glade Muse, 3 to cast for a 2/4. When a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, that player draws a card. Ravenous Gigantotherium, 2 green, 5 generic for a 3/3. It has Devour 3, and when it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage divided as you choose among up to X target creatures, where X is its power. Each of those creatures deal damage equal to its power to Ravenous Gigantotherium. Alright, Twinning Staff. This is one of the specifically commander cards. It's a 3 to cast artifact. If you would copy a spell 1 or more times, instead copy it that many times plus 1 additional time, and you may choose new targets for the copy. And then it has 7 in tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Jace Architect of Thought, 4 to cast, comes with 4 loyalty. Its +1 is until your next turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls attacks, it gets -1, -0. Its -2 is reveal the top 3 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put one of them into your hand and the other on the bottom of your library in any order. And its ultimate is -8. For each player, search that player's library for a non-land card and exile it. Then that player shuffles their library, and you may cast those cards without paying their mana costs. Alright, Lunar Mystic, 4 to cast for a 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant spell, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. Niblis of Frost, 4 to cast for a 3/3 Flying Spirit with Prowess. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap target creature. Actually, it's not even a may. You tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Swarm Intelligence, it's 7 to cast. Enchantment, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell and you may choose new targets for the copy. Talrand has probably been in every... this is reprinted so much. It's a 4 to cast 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake with flying. Chaos Warp, 3 to cast instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library if it's a permanent card, and they may put it onto the battlefield. Charmbreaker Devils, 1 red, 5 generic for a 4/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4/+0 until end of turn. Alright, Comet Storm. Let me go ahead and pick that back up. It's a 2 red X spell. It's an instant with multi-kicker of 1. And it says choose any target, then choose another target for each time the spell was kicked, and it deals X damage to each of them. Commune with Lava. I'm making, this is really funny. So I am actually making Kakar while I'm also making Animar at the same time, and this deck is actually going to give me some cards that I would like to put in there. Commune with Lava might be one of them. Exile the top X cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards. Same thing with Comet Storm. There's a lot of stuff in here that I like. Dual Caster Mage. 3 to cast for a 2/2 flash. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell, and you may choose new targets. Atali, the Primal Storm, 2 red, 4 generic for a 6/6. When it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Goblin Dark Dwellers, 2 red, 3 generic for a 4/4 menace. Goblin, when Goblin Dark Dwellers enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that card would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Starstorm is 2 red and X, and it deals X damage to each creature, and it cycles for 3. Strength of Tajiri, 2 green and X, with a multi-kicker of 1. Choose target creature, then choose another target creature for each time this spell was kicked, and put X +1/+1 counters on each of them. Ooh, I have a spot for that too. Artifact Mutation. This is an older card actually. 1 red, 1 green. Destroy an artifact, a target artifact. It can't be regenerated. Create X 1/1 green sapling creature tokens where X is the converted mana cost of the artifact. Djinn Illuminatus. Hybrid red blue, 2 of them, and 5 generic for a 3/5 flying Djinn. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has Replicate. The Replicate cost is equal to its mana cost. And Replicate is, when you cast it, copy it for each time you paid the Replicate cost, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Melek Izzet Paragon. I put this in a couple decks. It's a blue, a black, and 4, or a blue, a red, and 4 generic. For a 2/4, you play with the top card of your library revealed, and you may cast instant and sorcery spells from the top of your library. And when you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your library, you may copy it and choose new targets for the copy. Prophetic Bolt originally came to us from Apocalypse a long time ago. A red, a blue, and 3 generic. It is an instant that deals 4 damage to any target. Then you look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Alright. Rashmi, the Eternity's Crafter. 1 green, 1 blue, 2 generic for a 2/3. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with converter mana cost less than that spell's, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. And if you don't cast it, the revealed card is put into your hand. Wart the Raid Mother. So it's hybrid green, red for 2 of them. 4 generic for a 3/3. It's a legendary Goblin Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red and green Goblin Warrior creature tokens. Each red or green instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire. And Conspire is, let me see if I can read that. As you cast a spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Alright, Sadbot or Solemn Simulacrum has 4 to cast 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card and put it into the battlefield tapped. When it dies, you draw a card. Cinderglade is the Tango land. It's the red-green Tango land, so when it enters the battlefield, it enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Desolate Lighthouse adds a colorless, or you can pay a red, a blue, and 1 tap it to draw a card and discard a card. Exotic Orchard comes in every precon, so we won't worry about that. Kessig Wolf Run adds a generic, or you can pay a red, a green, and X. Target creature gets X plus 0 and gains trample until end of turn. Mossfire Valley, it's 1 and tap it. It adds a green and red. And Mosswort Bridge, it has Hideaway, and basically what that means is you look at the top card of your library, or top 4 cards of your library, and you may exile one of them face down, basically underneath of the bridge, and then you can tap it to add a green, or pay a green and tap it, and you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have a total power of 10 or greater. Orin Reef the Vastwood, I actually put this in one of my decks. It enters tapped, adds a green, or you can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. And Scavenger Grounds, it adds a colorless. You can pay 2, tap it, and sacrifice its desert, including itself. And you exile all cards from all graveyards. Yavimaya Coast is the blue-green Painland. And then we have some mountains. Just randomly strewn about in these. I don't know how they did this. Alright. Then they have Bonder's Ornament. I believe it's in every deck. It's 3 generic for an artifact that taps to add a mana of any color. Or you can pay 4 tap it. Each player who controls a permanent named Bonder's Ornament draws a card. The Signet, always useful. And a Commander Sphere. Adds a mana of any color, or you can sack it to draw a card. Lightning Greaves, always good to have these. It's 2 to cast equipment. Equipped creature has haste and shroud and equipped for free. Soul Ring. Clash of Titans. It's 2 red, 3 generic. It's an instant. Target creature fights another target creature. It doesn't have to be your own. Channeled Force. 1 red, 1 blue, 2 of any, or 2 generic. Has an additional cost to cast this spell. Discard X cards. Each player draws X cards. Channeled Force deals X damage to up to 1 target creature or player. Okay. Primal Empathy. 1 green, 1 blue, 1 generic. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. Psychic Impetus. 3 to cast. Enchantment, enchant creature. It gets +2/+2 and is goaded. And whenever enchanted creature attacks, you scry 2. The red Impetus gets +2/+2 and is goaded. And then whenever enchanted creature attacks, you create a treasure token. And Predatory Impetus, the green one. The creature gets +3/+3 and is goaded. Must be blocked if able. Chemist's Insight is 4 to cast, instant, draw 2 cards with Jumpstart. Frantic Search, 3 to cast, instant, you draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards, and you untap 3 lands, up to 3 lands. Murmuring Mystic, 4 to cast, creature, human wizard, it's a 1/5. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, create a 1/1 blue bird illusion creature token with flying. Whiplash Trap is 2 blue, 3 generic. It's an instant and it's a trap. And if an opponent had 2 or more creatures enter the battlefield under their control this turn, you may pay a blue rather than its mana cost, or its full mana cost, and return 2 target creatures to their owner's hands. Surreal Memoir, 1 red, 3 generic. Return an instant card at random from your graveyard to your hand, and it has Rebound. And Rebound is if you cast this spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. Then the card goes into your graveyard. Just be aware of that. Crop rotation. 1 green for an instant. Sacrifice a land as an additional cost. Search your library for a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. This is usually used to go get Gaia's Cradle. Evolution Charm. 1 green, 1 of any instant. Choose 1. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Or return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Or target creature gains flying until end of turn. Harrow is a 3 to cast instant as an additional cost to cast this spell. You also sacrifice a land. And search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Hunter's Insight is 1 green, 2 generic. Instant, choose target creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage, if a player or to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw that many cards. Hunting Pack, 2 green, 5 generic. Create a 4/4 green beast creature token, and Storm, which says when you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before this turn. Copies do not count for this unless they specifically say cast. Please be aware of that. You have to look that rule up if you need to. Realize that Storm doesn't count copied spells unless it says you cast the copy. Alright, Natural Connection, 3 green, instant, search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Slice in Twain, 2 green, 2 generic. Destroy an artifact or enchantment, and then draw a card. Tribute to the Wild, 1 green, 1 of any, instant, each opponent sacrifices an artifact or enchantment. Wilderness Reclamation, 1 green, 3 generic, enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. Crackling Drake, 2 red, 2 blue, Flying Drake. Crackling Drake's power is equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Growth Spile, great card. Green and a blue, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Temur, whatever. Temur Charm, green, blue, red. Choose 1. It's an instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it fights target creature you don't control. Or counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Or creatures with power 3 or less can't block this turn. And that is a junk card. Okay, so that is what comes inside of the Arcane Maelstrom 2020 Ikoria Commander precon. I see a couple cards in here that I may steal out of the deck just to add to my Kakar Wind of Fury deck. Not sure. I do have that started. It's halfway there, and I will. If you see them in there, you'll know. As far as when this is going to actually be set live, I'm not sure yet. I do think that if I have enough time, all 5 will be revealed in 1 week. That way I don't have to worry about it after that. But anyway, so that is what's inside of the precon. As I always tell you guys, if you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and send me a message. Comment on the video if you'd like to. Go to the Facebook page, and if you want to contact me there, you can. All that information is in the section below on the information part of it. So, as I always ask you guys, please like, subscribe, and share. We're at, as of the making of this video, 120 subscribers, and I'd like to get to 200 by the end of the summer if possible, if not more. I have mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. I may be doing a giveaway, depending on subscribers and such. So, yeah, go ahead, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends about it, tell me what you like, what you don't like, all that good stuff. But until next time, I'll catch you later.